Okay, so I'm seeing some comments on my post that's trying to engage us as Black people, particularly starting this conversation from a Black Caribbean perspective and how we show up in America in relation to our cousins, Black Americans, right? And so I'm not pulling people's comment because everybody doesn't have the maturity to engage in this conversation. I don't want people commenting to be attacked. So if you didn't see the video and you don't see the comment, cool. But there was a Black Caribbean woman that left a comment and she said, what you're saying, and this is the absolute truth. I'm from the Caribbean, and I didn't always embrace my Black American cousins, and I've had a lot of unlearning to do, and I now embrace the Black struggle as a whole. However, sometimes Black Americans do not, in turn, embrace me, and I want to speak to that. And this is not me downplaying the Black struggle, because we all have our struggles based on where we come from, whether we're Black in the Caribbean, Black in Latin countries, Black in America, Black in the UK, and Black in Canada. However, I think we can all agree that the group of Black people who have had the hardest of times, right, particularly for us in America, have been Black Americans. Now, there was something that a Caribbean woman said, and she got cussed out. But what she said was something to discuss. And she said that in the Caribbean, we got the ability to read and write sooner, and we got access to be able to take back our country and have Black countries, and Black Americans had to go through Jim Crow. And if you've come to America as a Caribbean person or African person and you have not gotten the history of Jim Crow, if you've not seen the videos, if you've not seen the still footages, I encourage you to go see it, right? Now, when you are a people that experience slavery for 400 years, in places where slavery was outlawed for us. Now, although we weren't treated like equals, but we were not treated like Black Americans in our country, in our land, right? So when you have a group of people like Black Americans who have experienced what they have experienced for hundreds of years, and then decades of Jim Crow discrimination and segregation filled with nothing but violence and lynchings, right? I want you to remember this, violence and lynchings. And then you come out of that, and then you go and advocate, not just for yourselves as Black people, but for people who are not Black. And other Black people from throughout the diaspora, to be able to come to this land, build the land of freedom, right? You've gone through all of that as a people. You continue to go through that struggle as a people. And then when you have a chance to advocate for yourself, you not only think about yourself, but you think about Black people on other parts of the world. You think about Asians, you think about the Hispanics. You make sure in your civil rights bills, right? A bill designed to equal the playing field for you as Black people in America. You do so, and also include these other groups of people. And then these other groups of people come here and put their nose up towards you. And they do that for decades. Decades. And the fact that 1 or 2 or even 10 of us as Caribbean people get this, the fact that 1 or 2 or even 10 of us as African people get this, the expectation that Black Americans should forget how we have showed up for them for decades and then turn around and embrace us because we are the 1 or the 2 Caribbean people that have figured this out is an unfair ask. It's an unfair ask. And so it may hurt your feelings, right? Deal. It may make you feel like, how can I come together in unity? Deal. We're asking a group of people who have experienced some of the worst, not just from the people who do not look like them, but from the people who look like them. And just because a few of us have gotten this doesn't mean that we are entitled to their spaces. Doesn't mean that we are entitled to their forgiveness. Doesn't mean we are entitled to their community. We're not entitled to it. We have to earn it. And the way we earn it is to always show up. Because one thing I will tell you about Black Americans, they are some of the most welcoming, kind, empathetic, and forgiving group of people I've ever encountered. And so it may hurt your feelings for a little bit. We're going to have to deal. We're going to have to deal. And in the meantime, we need to be talking to our fellow Caribbean people, the people who come from where we come from, fellow African people where we come from, to educate them so that we are lessening the harm that these new wave of immigrants come in with, right? Because this conditioning is set back in the Caribbean. So by the time they get here, So instead of being offended or affronted that some African Americans do not welcome you in as if you are family and Black to them, they deserve that. They've earned that. We as a collective, right? I need us as Black people to start thinking as a collective and not as